Right, we'll start the summary. So the Maamar asks, first you have to, it's based on a Maamar that's in Tzedek. So the Pasuk mentions the word Terumah 3 times. There's Rashi's Pirush, which he doesn't mention, but he asks, what's the meaning, the Pnimius? What are these 3 Terumahs? Now, in detail, that the 3 Terumahs begin with V'yikhu li Terumah. Then the pasuk says that each person should give, according to the generosity of his heart, tikkos trumasi. So what's the diuk? That the yidvendel liboy is another thing from the v'yikhu li truma. V'yikhu li truma is not yidvendel liboy. That's a different kind of giving. Then there's a giving of the generous heart, which is a second kind of giving. You have to understand, what is that? Why is the li not yidvendel liboy? The first one is also equally people giving it from the generosity of their heart. It's clear that it's not the giving of the generosity of the heart, which is in focusing on the giver and his heart, is only said with respect to the second truma, not v'yikhu. Why is that? It's a second shaila. So what are the 3 trumas? Why is v'yikhu only first truma and not yidvendel liboy? And furthermore, why b'chlal v'yikhu take v'yitnu? They should give. Why does it say they should take truma? They should give truma. And moreover, this diuk v'yikhu is associated with li. Only v'yikhu is associated with li. Yidvendel liboy says taka trumosi, but not the word li, which is significant, as we'll see later. So you have to understand all the inyanim. Rashi even says in the word li lishmi that only appears in the first part of v'yikhu li, the first time it's mentioned. Why not the others? So basically, we have to understand all the diukim, the 3 references to Terumah, why these only said with respect to the first one, and why the first one is the diuk is v'yikhu, not v'yitnu. So to understand this, the Tzedek brings various midrashim where it explains v'yikhu li, take from me. The Eibush is saying, open up for me. That's the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, Pischli Achosi Rayosi. How much longer will I go and will I wander without a home? Make for me a home that I should not be on the outside. So that's already a pirush v'yikhu li, take me. So he goes on to say that this is all a kavanah of dira b'tachtonim. So what's this? That's what I think we're up to. No, I don't know, how far did we go? Okay, we'll pick up the text now. V'hine. So it's a third way down Eis base. V'hine seder ha'aveidahu. What's the seder ha'aveidah? Before a person can begin his avodah, there has to be the empowerment, the arousal, the inspiration from above. Inspiration wouldn't necessarily be the right word, because that's a contrasty felt thing, but it's an arousal from above, which is ma'eded esarusa delatata, awakens the response from below. This is what the pasuk is saying. The pasuk that the Medrash mentioned in explaining v'yikhu li truma. The voice of my beloved knocks on the door. That's the Eibishter, and who's speaking is Knesset Yisrael. And the Eibishter says, "Open up for me." So that's takav. So that's takav. What the Medrash is explaining, that our pasuk is saying v'yikhu li. That's pischili. Shukemoi pischili. It's just like open up for me. I know the Eibush is saying what? Take me, open up and take me. That's the meaning now. We understand now the pasuk v'yikhu li truma. We'll soon explain the word truma, but so far v'yikhu li, the hainu likrachu lekabel. Please respond, take me. open up and receive. I am knocking on the door, says the Eibishter. And there's an awakening from above, and the Eibishter says, please take me. So now to explain. So I'll understand this by first prefacing the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. Being in Habaskel, the Gemara says in Brachos, Chagiga, talking about the whole sugi of Acher, that there's a baskel, the heavenly voice that goes out, Shemachrezes, and issues forth from heaven daily, and it says, Shuvu banim shevivim, return wayward children. So it's a heavenly voice. This is a Yisraelis that comes Milamayla. L'chayda Kosher asked the Baal Shem Tov, it's difficult to understand. Interestingly, it doesn't say the l'chayda in a mover. No, in a mover. So you won't have an answer to the kasha on the pasuk. No, but this is kasha. This is difficult. Not just any moving. The Eibush is calling out to us and ask the Baal Shem Tov, no person hears these kruzim, these announcements. What's the point of these kruzim, of these proclamations? Explains the Baal Shem Tov, sometimes a person gets out of nowhere thoughts of tshuva and he had not prepared himself for it. It comes without preparation. Where does it come from? The answer is this. This is because of the heavenly proclamations. But this hasn't answered our question, because immediately I'm not dying. So why aren't we doing tshuva every day? These heavenly proclamation issues daily. The baskel, this baskel is every day. The person knows days can pass without him having, God forbid, any thoughts of truth. So what's the point? The answer is this is the Gemara in Megillah that Daniel and Hanan, Mishael, Bazaria, that they didn't see the Malach and he did, but they still trembled. They still great dread fell upon them, because Afagav Dile Chosi, even though they didn't see Mazlayu, he didn't see Mazlayu Chosi, his mazel, which is the shirish of the neshama above. So mazel means something that drips down, from a higher source. Mazel, that's a neshama shalamayla of the two darkest mazel, and that's a neshama shalamayla. Shemas b'chol yemes achrus milyon. Does here every day. Shezui is oyerish nimshechas milamayla. That's the oyerish that comes from above. However, it has to be the avoid of open up, v'ikchuli, take me. To take this awakening that comes from above. So it didn't answer the question, did it? So why does it happen sometimes? That's not the answer. Only partially. The answer is that the etzem neshama, the mazel, hears it. So if you make a hachana, then we will hear it also. We'll be stirred. But as you said at the outset, sometimes it happens without any preparation at all. That he didn't explain. The teretz is that sometimes the Eibusher just says, despite you, when awakening. That's even a deeper level of Ahava. Or could be of schus ovis. that this Avos Lamaila are being Ma'ir Rachmim, and therefore you have Yehuvi Tshuva, whatever the explanation. I'm just reminded as a child, so there's this kid, he emigrated to Australia and in Israel actually, and they lived near us, and this boy, Zvi, and I remember exactly how it started. I was a little kid, he was younger than me. Anyway, he started coming to the shul, and we invited him Shabbos to our home, and he became part of our extended family. And since growing up, we fine. Shem Shabbos, etc. And I remember as a child, I didn't grow up in the Chabad neighborhood. There was a shtibel that we had, all Holocaust survivors. So people were saying that it must be where's this kid coming out of nowhere? Not supported by parents. They didn't send him to yeshiva, although on his insistence they did. Probably also because they got free tuition. So they were saying he must be chus obvious, up in Lamaila that are pushing. So Bemis, that's not true. It could be. But every neshama is a direct line, and every neshama, this ayurus can come straight from the neshama. I don't doubt, it came from him. So, but in their world, these Polish Holocaust survivors, Hungarian survivors, holding, it can't be the person himself. There's certain truth to that, but everything is mileage, so self does play a role. But it didn't occur to anybody. This is, this kid's journey. It's not him. It is, again, there's truth to that and also not truth to that. I'm just sharing it. As I got older, I rethought him and what was being said in the shtibel. It's him, it's the kid, he's in the show. In that world, chesuvos is a big thing. So this teaches the value of each neshama. Not that there isn't chesuvos. Okay, let's continue. It's more than that. So they couldn't understand why a person would do this. How would a person become from? So they're being pushed. Chesuvos, the mile. Down here, why would you? It's only that the neshama is connected and belonging to the neshama. The Atzidus, they don't have that appreciation.
One time of his nugget asked me straight up, like, I was born from, I don't really have a choice. Like, why would you choose to do that?
Yeah. The first thing that drew my father-in-law to Lubavitch was hearing the Peretz Mochkin explain the violation the Abish is asking, where's your longing for me? Hearing such word, the longing for God. In the word, a relationship. Without siddhis, there's no relationship with God. So therefore, it's all strange. Why would you do this? Unless you were convinced that you got better reward, you're really convinced you're going to get more schar. Okay, that makes sense. That you're here, that you're seeking God because you're part of Him. Without siddhis, it's not in the way that. Yeah, so now we'll understand v'yikchulu. It's going into more detail. You already answered the question, but it's being mavayir. Take me. It doesn't say give me. This is not the avoid of a person. It's not his contribution. This stage is the beginning. David is saying, open up and take me. I'm giving you. I'm just asking you to take it. The Abish is asking that we should take this Eirus that comes from above. That's also will explain why it doesn't mention here a responsive heart, a generous heart, because that's already source of the latata. Here it doesn't mention that the generosity of a person's heart is giving heart. That's not about your generous heart. It's not dependent on the avodah of a person. The whole emphasis here is, and the whole Indian here is, the arousal that comes from above. So what is it? All you have to do is v'yikhu, take me. So that's v'yikhu. Take me for the detail. Like it says in Medrash, doesn't say take Terumah, but take me. Because what does li mean? Because I'll say it here in many places. Wherever the word li appears, and many times in Psukim, that's forever. So the implication here is you're taking the forever one. Moreover, and I'm forever. God says, I'm forever not going to give up on you and beg you to take me. So there's two Lashonos. One, the Lashon about the word li is that it's forever. And elsewhere it says, wherever the word li appears, it's never to be budged. Not in this world or the world to come. So here, the diak he's saying here is that this is eternal. It's not dependent on a person. It comes from above. Therefore, there's no changes. Not you're worthy, not worthy. It's this world, the next world, you're forever mine, and I will forever beg you to take me into your heart. It's forever and cannot be dislodged or removed because it's the Eibishter's unconditional love. Clear? Yeah. This is all the word. So after the Serusa de Leila, which is what are we hearing? It's Pasha daily. She's saying this is the meaning of Truma. The word Truma is not explained yet, but Vikuli. So the Chli is Gam Avida. So although now the person has to respond, he is Avida from below. That's Taka the Hemshech Apostle. The Hemshech Apostle Kol Isha Sheidvenel Dibri. Now the heart has to respond. The Indian is as follows. Even though Shesusa the Lily be easily godly Yosef, even though the awakening from above is much greater and incomparable to the awakening from below. What does he mean by that, friends? What does he mean by that?
Obviously, the qualitative, quantitative, it's like a bigger from a higher level.
It's from a higher level. Put in Sipolosius. Let's continue reading. What's the shaila? Even though this was the Leila is much greater, nonetheless, it's not enough that the Aveda should be, so there is Aveda, but it should not be mitzad isarusa de Leila. There's three things here. Right? There's three things. Isarusa de Leila, but which brings in avodah mitzad sarusa delayla, that's not enough. There's got to be sarusa delatata. So what does this mean? If he's responding to sarusa delayla, so that mission accomplished. And what's the diuk of Be'ili Godli Yosef? Why not just say, even though L'chayda should have said this, that to respond to the Sarusa Delayla Mitzad Sarusa Delayla itself is not enough. It has to be Sarusa Delatata. First of all, what does that mean? But that seems to be the point. What's the kvetchi that it's much higher? Push it. The arousal from above comes despite me. So what's happening? So the Eibush is stirring the Pnimius. The Eibush is showing his love for me. Yeah. So the Eibush is showing his love for me, touches the depth of me. The Eibush is showing his love. And stirs the Etzem Pnimius on the Shoma. It touches a place much deeper than me, than my avodah accesses. My avodah is based on my limitations, my seichel, my midas, my kabbalah soil. The Eibush's arousal of me touches my core. It's much higher. And that inspiring, when you feel that, is when he feels this. Is it this Hiruri that comes from nowhere? And to ride on that alone, he's saying it's not enough. As he goes to the say, because it'll dissipate. It's got to be translated in my own dogged effort. As limited as it is, that's going to last. It's much purer. The Sarusa Delayla comes from the Maila is an experience of the divine. Out of nowhere, a person gets a sense of a deep shame, and I've got to change, and this is pure. What's stirring it is the truth of Alikus is stirring it. What he's saying is, that's not enough, the truth of Alikus. It's got to be your truth, your matzah. It has to be translated in the Sarusa Delatata in my own appreciation and honest evaluation of my own matzah, the way I understand my own matzah, not just in the face of this feeling that has overwhelmed me. Then it'll last. In the words of the Maimon, Shakasher Avodah mitzad Rusudele Bilvad, when the Avodah is he's simply riding and responding to Tak. This epiphany, this experience that he had, Milamayla. Given Shizel Mashin is Eder Milamayla, since he was unprepared. It passes and it doesn't endure. When the person's this urgent, maybe Choset, I mean, you can appreciate this in a small way too. There are moments of inspiration. If I bring in, each one has his moments in Chastoyre, the moment lifts you. But it's not going to translate into the practicality and the therefore and the nitty-gritty of my life, then this urgent passes. Therefore, that's to be the avoided. That is the kind of the starting point. Is me, not a response to the Sayyidus Milamai that kickstarts it all, as it were. But then that has to translate in a good hard look at my own matzah and the decision to change. That's the second part of the pasuk, where each one on his level according to the responsiveness and the generosity of his heart, thus tshuva changes and gives. To be clear, yeah. So that's the diak, that Yisrus Leila is be'ein haroich. You're being inspired by the truth. You experience the emes. You've been touched by alikus, be'ein haroich. That's what's going on here. But what the chesodin is that you're the recipient. It's not between years. It's gifted to you, and it inspires you, and there's a change that happens immediately, effortlessly. But it won't last. In order for it to last, it has to be examine oneself and make real changes. And so, to continue. Now to go into more prati. Now it's going to explain Terumah. So if I explained v'yikhu and li, but now what's Terumah? Terumah is a base perushim. There's two perushim Isaiah. Pirush Aleph, Terumah hu oisius Torah men, meaning shekoyel ha-Torah shenitna l'arbaim yom. Torah given in 40 days, over 40 days. That's the first Pirush. Pirush HaBeis, sheTerumah hitrei mimeya. Where Terumah breaks up. Today's actually Lashon Arami, is not Hebrew. But the Zohar is giving this Pirush, and very often, mind you, we find their words in Torah which are Lashon Arami, and not just Aramaic. We find other languages too. Toitafos, in other words. You guys sadus in many words. Kaponim so Terumah will train meya 2 out of 100. Tells us in order 18 to see Sechta Terumah's. I'm not sure what he means here, because there he brings the 3 shurim for Terumah to give 1 in 40, 1 in 50, or 1 in 60. So 1 in 40 is generous, 1 in 50 is baininess. So 1 in 50 is 2 of 100. That's what he means. But that's not very the baininess. I don't know. It's not mukius, I don't know. But what's the inyan? What's the inyan of 2 out of 100? The koi al beis parshiyas krishma shachritz va'arvis. Refers to the 2 parshas that we say, krishma morning and evening, in brackets, erev avoike b'chol yim tomeh pamayim be'ava shma imrim, quoting from Holy Canaan, Musaf. So what's the 2 out of 100? Sheb'chol pam yesh mem tes asavim. You count the letters of 49 letters. How so? You add it up, you'll see. The 25 letters for the Pasuk Shema Yisrael. The Chavdalid Oisius of Baruch Shem Kimachus Leilam Vay. This is explaining Chassidus Barichas. Yichud Yilo, Yichud Taton, Koi, Chavdalid. Anyway, 25 Oisius for Shema Yisrael and 24 for Baruch Shem. So do the math. Well, based on Memtes, saying what? 2 times 49 are Tzadikhes. What did you say? 90. I think you said 88. 98, yeah. So we're missing what? 2. Terumah is Trei Mimeya. So we're still missing 2 from the 100. So what is that? That's the Yid giving himself over to the one Eibishter, Echad, one in Shachris, and Echad again in Arvis. That's the 2. So what's that? That is the 2 that complete the May of the 100. That's the second Pirush of the Zohar in the word Terumah. So the first one is what? Just repeat it back. First one, it's a reference to Torah. And the second one, Kriya Shema, the Veda of Kriya Shema, the whole Avodah. Kriya Shema. So how is it hinted to in other words, Tefillah? How is it hinted to in the word Terumah? Just give me the math here. So if you say it, you're going to remember it. Terumah is Rashi kind of a trikun of what? 2 from 100. 2, in other words, 2 that completes the 100. That's what it means. So what is the Inyan?
Shema Yisrael is 49 ACAs. Say it twice, so that.
How do you get them at 49? Because it's B'dir. The Shema Yisrael is 25 ACAs. It's 24 ACAs. Together, that's 9. It's 89. So it's missing what?
98.
Both. No, I'm sorry, 98. Missing 2. So there's the echad of shacharis and the echad of arvis, echad of shacharis, mesiras nefesh. That's the okay. Now that's the train we made. Now the hasbara. Vinyan bezer. Hine Torah be'ofen sham shachim l'mayla l'mata. Torah is God speaking to man. Kimishakosov kimin hashemayim dibarti imochem. From heaven I spoke to you. We just read this about Shas Yisrael. Nikras, and it's also called Lechem in Hashemayim. The Shalom explains that Lechem in the Oretz, it's Nigel and Siddur, but Nigel and Primis HaTorah. But in general, Torah in general is Lechem in Hashemayim, bread from heaven. You see, about Torah, it says, Alikei dvarai ka'esh. Hashem says, my words are like fire. What's the analogy to fire? Ma'ish and Makabel Tumba. Says the Gemara in Brachas, just so a person's stomach can learn Torah. Just like fire is not susceptible to becoming Tomei, so the words of Torah don't become Tumah, they're not become contaminated, therefore a person's stomach can still and should learn Torah. All to say that Torah is Hashem's revelation that comes to us from above, and it is not susceptible to impurity and remains forever pure despite its descent to our world. Shenkin in the Kriya, that's the first creation of Zayah, the word Truma. But Kriya is there is not Milamayda Lamata, on the contrary, that's Limsin Nafshi Be'echod, that the Yid gives himself over to the Eibush to Be'efin Shalom. Milamata Lamayda, that's a Yid reaching up and connecting to Hashem. So now we'll explain all the diyukim. First, v'yikhu truma, and then from each person with his responsive heart, you should take my truma. The first reference, v'yikhu truma, as we explained before, God says, I'm awakening you, just take me. I'm giving you, take me. What? That's Torah. That's the first pirish of the Zohar in the word Terumah, Terumah. That refers to Torah as it comes to us from heaven to us. That's Vikli Terumah is Torah. Here the responsive heart. He said, that's the second pirish in the Zohar. This is our Avodah of Avad and Mesiras Nefesh, as described in Kriya Shema, as expressed in Kriya Shema. Bisarusa the Letato, Pirisha Beis Betruma, that's the second Pirish of the Zohar in the word Truma, Trei, Mimeya, Shekela Mesiras Nefesh Be'echad, that the emphasis is the Trei, is the combination of Kriya Shema. Mesiras Nefesh for the unity of Hashem, for Hashem, Shebeifin Shalom, Melamata Lamata, that is the Avoid Melamata Lamata. So we're clear, clearly, equally Truma is Torah Melamayda Lamata, Me'es Kol Ish, Asher Yidvenu Libay Tikchos Tumosi, that is also the Latata which follows, expressed in the Aved of Krishma of Limse Nafshe Be'achad. Further Perushim Beis Hashem tomorrow.